Assalamu alaikum guys. Okay, so this is Sir Shafat Khan on your screen. I hope you're all doing well. Okay guys, so let's review some of our chemistry concepts, and the topic we're discussing today, which I'm talking about, is chemical bonding. Okay, so if you go back and revise the definition of chemical bonding is just an interaction or a bonding between chemical substances, chemical compounds, right? Within the chemical compounds, in between the chemical atoms or elements, right? Okay, so chemical bonding is broadly classified into two major categories. And what are those major categories? You've got intermolecular bonding and you've got intramolecular bonding, right? Intermolecular bonding is a type of bonding which is found in between the molecules, whereas intramolecular bonding is a type of bonding which is found within the molecules. Intramolecular bonding has three major types in our curriculum, which includes ionic bonding, covalent bonding, and metallic bonding. Covalent bonding is also of two types. You've got normal covalent bonding and coordinate covalent bonding. Coordinate covalent bonding is also known as dative bonding, whereas intermolecular bonding has majorly two broad categories: polar bonding and non-polar bonding, meaning the one that occurs in polar compounds and the other that occurs in non-polar compounds. Now, polar bonding is further classified into two major categories. The first one, and the most important one, in fact the strongest of all intermolecular forces, is called hydrogen bonding, whereas the second polar intermolecular bonding in our curriculum is called permanent dipole interaction. Then if we talk about the non-polar bonding, there's just one non-polar bonding, which is known as instantaneous dipole induced dipole forces. And instantaneous dipole induced dipole forces is also known as London dispersion forces. All right, and instantaneous dipole induced dipole along with the permanent dipole are collectively also known as van der Waal interactions. All right, so we just named all the different types of chemical bonding that we had in our syllabus. Now let's talk in detail about ionic bonding. Let's define ionic bonding quickly. So ionic bonding by definition is the electrostatic force of attraction that exists between oppositely charged ions. And by oppositely charged ions, I mean cations and anions. All right, positive ion and negative ion. And an example of an ionic compound is sodium chloride, our common table salt, right, in which sodium is positive and chloride is negative. Magnesium oxide is another example in which magnesium is positive and oxide is negative. Now if we talk about covalent substances, let's define covalent bonding first. So covalent, as the name suggests, so it's a type of bonding in which there is a covalence. Co means there is a sharing of electrons between non-metal atoms. All right, covalent bonding never occurs in metallic compounds, it only occurs in non-metallic compounds. Apart from that, the normal covalent bonding, this is the definition of normal covalent bonding. Now if we talk about dative bonding or coordinate covalent bonding is a special category of covalent bonding in which both the bonded electrons are provided by a single atom or by a single element. All right, and now there's a donor atom and there's an acceptor atom. The donor atom provides electrons, acceptor atom accepts electrons. The donor atom is an atom which must have at least one lone pair of electron, whereas the acceptor atom must have a free orbital into which it can accept an electron. Example would be ammonium ion. In ammonium ion there is a dative bond along with three covalent bonds, because because nitrogen of ammonia contains the lone pair of electron which is donated to hydrogen which has a vacant electron. So a dative bond, the fourth bond in ammonium, is actually a dative bond. Then coming to metallic bonds. So metallic bonds by definition are also electrostatic forces of attraction between oppositely charged species, but in this case the oppositely charged species are actually positive metal ions and a sea of delocalized electrons that is surrounding them. All right, now all of these definitions that I have defined are actually termed with respect to the marking schemes definition, so make sure to write them as it is. Do not try to remove any words from there, otherwise you might end up missing marks because of the lack of key terms. All the definitions that we have are super important, and the key terms are super important, in fact, for all the definitions. So this was a quick recap of all the different types of chemical bonds that we had and all the different types of forces that we have. Now we've discussed intramolecular. For intermolecular forces, we are going to talk in the next video. Okay, thank you so much.